Hello everyone, my name is Odali Surey Balasquide Ode. I am a Millennium Fellow, class of 2019 from the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras campus. In my project, I will be incorporating SDG 13, which is climate action, by focusing research in the area of atmospheric pollution, particularly in the area of coal combustion waste in Puerto Rico. The purpose of this study is to increase education in the topic and to raise awareness about the importance of understanding the needs of our environment and learning about ways in which we can help it. Millennium Fellowship has provided me with excellent tools to continue refining my leadership skills, not only to make an impact or strong impact in my university community, but also all around the world by contacting me with excellent and motivated students that are working towards 17 SDGs established by the United Nations. I think that all of us as a team, we have the power to create a strong impact, not only in our respective countries, but all around the world. So I am truly grateful for the opportunity that Millennium Fellowship has provided for us, because it just proves that we as students have a power to create impact. We do not have to wait to be professionals, and we do not have to wait to grow to make a strong impact. As one friend once told me, the world is not going to wait for us. The world needs us now, and the world needs our help and action now. So Millennium Fellowship has been this amazing tool that is helping us to achieve that goal of providing a better environment, a better society, and overall a better world for all of us and the generations that are coming behind us.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Samuel, and I'm here with.
Beba.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. We'll be your moderators for today's webinar, and we would love to know who's joining us today. So feel free to open that chat and type in your name, your institution, your university, and let us know who is here. We are so excited to welcome you to the 2019 Millennium Fellowship graduation. We have many incredible speakers to come.
Okay, we want to kick off the 2019 graduation with a surprise. So each year, MCN honors role models for our generation that uses their global platforms for good. You'll hear from most of them later in the program, but to help present the first Global Generation Award, hi to Millennium Fellow Monsi at Harvard University, who will help recognize our first winner.
Hi everyone, I'm Monse Valdez, a Millennium Fellow at Harvard University in Cambridge in the United States. A few short years ago, the first award winner was a student like me here on campus. Nuseir Yassin is the maker of Nas Daily, one of the most popular storytelling platforms on Facebook. As a recent college graduate, Nas left his job to travel and tell stories. Each day, Nas produces a fun new minute-long video inviting his community from around the world to dive into culture, places, and experiences. Nas has amassed a following of over 14 million followers on Facebook and over 4 billion views on his videos, while producing fun content. Nas has also been able to create social impact, spotlighting civic leaders like Kia Mo Tun in his videos and helping to raise millions of for food aid in Somalia. Nas is a member of MCN's Boards of Advisors. To be inspired, follow Nas on social media at Nas Daily and check out his new book, Around the World in 60 Seconds, which I just started reading and it's great. So on behalf of MCN and with support of Millennium Fellows worldwide, it is my pleasure to present the 2019 Global Generation Award to Nuseir Nas Yassin. Welcome, Nas.
Hi, everybody. I can't believe you have my book. That's cool. Thank you for buying it. Guys, it is an honor to be here. I wanted to drop by and say hello to all of you. I've been part of MCN for a while now, not as active as I should be, but I've been sort of following your progress from afar, and it's been nothing short of incredible. Someone commented, "I see Singapore." You are right. I'm in Singapore right now talking to you guys. So it is 8 p.m. right now. Yeah, and thank you so much for this kind gesture. It is wonderful to be with you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nas, for coming on today.
Of course. Congrats, everybody.
Thank you.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
All right, awesome. Thank you. All right, so to start off our celebration today, please join us in welcoming Emmy-nominated singer-songwriter, Mr. Alexander Starr. Welcome, Mr. Starr.
What up, what up, what up? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I'm audible now. Sweet. What's up, everybody? Yo, this is my first ever virtual graduation. This is incredible. Millennium Fellows, class of 2019. Congratulations to everybody. This is like groundbreaking. And congratulations, Sam, as well. Look, some of you I know personally. Most of you I don't yet. But what I do know is that each and every one of you was designated a winner the minute you decided to impact the world. I've been close with Sam, and what I've seen is it consistently gets better. The reach consistently grows, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because most people in this world just talk, but Millennium Fellows take action. This is your era. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. All right, it is our great pleasure to welcome you all to the 2019 Millennium Fellowship graduation. I'm Faba, co-campus director from Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona, USA.
And I'm Samuel from Lynn University.
We are so glad to be able to welcome you. We are all here today because we are committed to the core values of social impact. We are committed to leading change in our communities through humility, inclusivity, and empathy. And together we can be the necessary change needed to further and accomplish the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
We want this graduation to be truly your graduation and to celebrate your great successes and graduating as Millennium Fellows. So please, guys, join us today on social media. We have a hashtag Millennium Fellowship. Please do not forget LLN in Millennium. I always get caught up on that one. And feel free to share your stories. Feel free to share where you're coming from. Feel free to share where you're tuning in from today or about your projects. Just go online and let the world know that world needs change.
Awesome, thank you. So we're going to start this webinar with none other than MCN's Executive Director and co-founder, Sam Vaghar. Sam helped to launch the Millennium Fellowship, a student movement for the UN Sustainable Development Goals. He is a graduate of Brandeis University and received an honorary doctorate from Becker College. Sam has given talks at over 100 institutions worldwide, including Harvard University, MIT, the White House, the United Nations, the Vatican, and on speaking tours across 4 nations for the US Department of State. Additionally, Sam serves on multiple boards, including serving as an advisor to the Executive Director of UN Women. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I know you're in 16 different countries. What I wanted to speak to is what it means to be a Millennium Fellow. This journey started for all of you earlier this year. 7,000 young leaders on 1,200 campuses in 135 countries applied to become a Millennium Fellow. We selected 6% of campuses, 69 campuses in 16 countries to host 1,092 Millennium Fellows in the class of 2019. Over the last 4 months, you've led over 800 grassroots initiatives, positively impacting the lives of close to 1 million people, and made the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, these 17 goals, closer to reality. You are extraordinary, and your commitment is extraordinary. And the premise behind this whole movement and why we started this work a dozen years ago was a simple idea: united and supported, young people change the world. And that's all of you. That's each and every one of you. 1,000 of you tuned in today on campus watch parties that we see all over the world, and some of you individually as well. I know some of you are in Australia tuning in the very early morning hours, staying up very late to be with us live. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And here's what I wanted to share. I know that trying to make a difference can be difficult. There can be stumbles and roadblocks and obstacles. The work can be lonely. I know when I was starting out with this idea, a lot of people challenged me. And even worse, sometimes people would give me a pat on the back and say, hey, nice job. but they didn't really show up. They didn't really follow through with us. And so in those early days, 12 years ago in our university dorm rooms, we just clung to this idea that we could do and be more, that there were other young people like us out there committed to making a difference. And look at what has manifested because of each and every one of you. You are the Millennium Fellowship. You are leading with our core values of empathy, humility, inclusion, the ethos of MCN. We've been so proud to build a partnership with the United Nations Academic Impact to present the Millennium Fellowship. We're so proud that this network, which started with 11 Millennium Fellows in our first year in one city, has now scaled to a truly diverse, globally representative network. You all are 55% female. Shout out to all the females. You are 40% first generation college students, 86% people of color. You're in 16 different countries across time zones, and all sharing a commitment to making a difference and to not being a heropreneur, not having all the answers, entering this space with humility, and committing with an objective of making this a lifelong commitment to social impact, to the communities that we're a part of and we care about. And so, one, I want to say thank you. Two, I want to call on you to continue to be involved. After today, obviously, we've got a couple more webinars, but you're alumni. And so we want to invite you to continue to be involved. We'll have a number of committees that you can join if you want to stay involved. And I personally am looking for just 10 of you, just 10 young leaders worldwide who will work directly with me in the next couple months to share this movement, to share the Millennium Fellowship with more global leaders, high-profile leaders, leaders in philanthropy and business and media and nonprofits and governments at the UN. And so if you want to be one of those 10 leaders, I'd invite you to reach out directly to me at Sam Vaghar. And in general, connect with me on social, hashtag Millennium Fellowship, share your work, both what is happening today in real time and in the months to come. And we're with you. We hope that you continue, even as you think about this work, and if it ever feels lonely, that you know that you always have a home here with us, that this network, this platform that we've built is ours together, and that I'm really calling on all of you to shape where it goes next. You are the leaders that the world needs. You are the ones that we're all counting on. And we're so, so grateful for all that you do. So I just want to say thank you. You're going to hear from some extraordinary Global Generation Award winners. You heard from Naz. These are leaders who are role models for this generation. We've been honoring different leaders, Global Generation Award winners over the years, from Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Nobel Peace Prize winner, Lema Bowie, to Kenneth Cole, to Terry Crews, and many others. And the honorees today are just as worthy, extraordinary leaders and role models for our generation. But the biggest role models for me are each of you. And so I just wanted to say thank you personally on behalf of MCN to each and every one of you, Millennium Fellows tuning in around the world. Let's keep changing the world together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Sam. Great notes of gratitude towards, and let's keep it spreading. Guys, thank you so much for organizing this for all of us and making us come all together, all there in the UN MCN team, not only Sam, but Noah and others. And to continue, we want to reflect a little bit on some speech and also on Millennium Fellowship itself. And we will do this through an audience engagement interactive platform. So right now, feel free to see Slido in here. So what is this? It's the audience interaction platform, and feel free to go to slido.com from any device which can connect to internet and type in the hashtag Millennium Fellowship, again, LLN, and write down in one word, what does Millennium Fellowship means to you? We want to hear from you guys. So take out your devices and show us, what do you think? Leadership, change, community. Great. Keep it spreading. Let's more of these values. Let's see what's truly mean. Justice, of course. Empathy, hope, Incredible. Wow. Think and reflect, why do you put these values in here? Look at your projects, what you have accomplished. Wow. And right now you can see the map. The more of you put change, the bigger the letters are. Change and community. It seems like to be a common theme, but also many others. Friendships, social impact, support, reuniting, empowerment. Incredible. Well, thank you so much, guys, for the interaction today. Feel free to keep this spreading and be around there in Slido. But for right now, we'll be continuing a little bit. And for now, I want to introduce Chantel Marikira, a Millennium Fellowship alumna from the class of 2018. Just a year ago, she was in our seats. Chantel was a masterclass foundation scholar at Arizona State University, and she was recently awarded a prestigious Rhodes Scholarship to study at the University of Oxford. In 2018, Chantel represented the Millennium Fellowship, speaking at the United Nations headquarters during the 2019 ECOSOC Youth Forum. In addition, Chantel is currently representing Millennium Fellows on UN Women's Beijing Plus 25 Youth Task Force. Please join me in welcoming Chantel and wave to her so she can see that you're around.
Thank you so much, Samuel, for such a warm introduction. So my name is Chantal, as mentioned, and I am part of the Millennium Fellowship class of 2018. So just a year ago, I was recently talking to Noah, telling her how much time flies by. Like, it seems like yesterday when I was part of this class. I'm currently reading for an MPhil in International Relations at the University of Oxford, and I'm also part of the UN Women Beijing Plus 25 Youth Task Force, where I'm part of the policy committee. So my project is called Little Dreamers Foundation, and it's all about providing access to quality education, or quality and subsidized preschool education for students coming from financially disadvantaged families. And the Millennium Fellowship has been really impactful, not just for my project, but for me as a person. And it's one of the, I would say, the most important things that have happened in my life thus far. And one important thing, and one of the important lessons that we had at Arizona State was, so there was this lesson that we had about self-awareness and self-reflection. And Sam recently just talked about entering the space with humility. And so all my work from then has been grounded on that self-reflection, self-awareness, and being mindful of your positionality as you do your work with the communities. So before you get into the space, knowing exactly, okay, how do I come across as, and not having the heropreneurship that Sam was talking about, but going into the community and saying, okay, here I am working with the community, for the community, and the work is being done for the benefit of the community. So just having that mindset was really important for me. And one of the things that we may sometimes take for granted, so for example, we had, I remember in our lesson 2, we had a practice of elevator speeches. So each fellow would come in and give a 2-minute presentation of what their project was about. And I used to take that for granted. I was like, well, like, it's just talking about my project. But just today, like right now, I think 30 minutes ago, I was in a position where I had to do my elevator speech to one of the people at Oxford. And just from that elevator speech 30 minutes ago, like, I got like a £500 donation to Little Dreamers Foundation, just like that, like on the spot. And I was just laughing to myself. I was like, wait, this is the same thing that we had been doing, like, with the fellowship like a year ago. And it's those small things that we take for granted that are actually really important. So like what Sam was talking about, I just really want to urge you all to keep in touch with this network. All the help that you need is within this community. All the resources are in this community. So keep on pushing towards that problem solving. Keep on pushing towards whatever you're working on. And always know that you have a whole community backing you up. You have the whole community that's standing by you. Even when things get difficult, always know that you have thousands of people hyping for you from the sidelines, saying, you got this. And always, always, always ask for help when you need it, because everyone in this community has something to contribute to you. And before before I leave, I also want to just give a shout out to the Millennium Fellows from the National University of Science and Technology from Zimbabwe. I was home over the summer, and I have been in contact with them and working with them with their Pillar of Hope Foundation, and they are doing so much. Like the work that they're doing is really incredible. And I just want to leave this time to Tendai, who is the campus director, to share more about the work that they have been doing in Zimbabwe.
Okay, thank you very much, Chantel, for the introduction, and thank you very much, Team MCN, for the opportunity you have given us. It has been an amazing journey that we've been sharing as Millennium Fellows. So, like what Chantel has said, my name is Tendai Dara. I'm campus director for Millennium Fellows NAS in Zimbabwe. So over summer, we've been working with Chantel in a lot of projects that we've been doing. She has been very, very helpful, because she's the one who actually introduced Millennium Fellows to us here in Zimbabwe. So we've been working on a project that is called the Pillar of Hope Foundation. So Pillar of Hope Foundation is an SDG4 oriented project. So what we are doing is that we are trying to level out the playing ground in the education sector, with particular focus to primary and secondary education. So what we are doing is we are going around communities, specifically rural areas, trying to identify academically talented students who are lacking financial support. So during the timeline of the fellowship, we've managed to send 73 students to school, which is actually a milestone for us, because considering what is happening in Zimbabwe, the economic situation and everything, we're not expecting to reach this milestone. But we thank the Millennium Fellowship team, Noah, shout out to Noah, Kiran, Sam, and all the team behind the scenes that have been supporting us. So it's Pillar of Hope Foundation Zimbabwe, and on behalf of all the fellows, because it was the project that we've been working on is Millennium Fellows NAS, it was actually one project for all the fellows. Would like to thank MCN for the support and everything, and for always being there for us and ensuring that we kept on moving despite the financial challenges that we've been facing. And to all the fellows across the world, thank you. I'll give a shout out to some fellows from India, the likes of Aniket, fellows from Uganda. We've been working together on various projects. We've been collaborating and ensuring that we share notes and also get to compile a few stuff together. So in conclusion, I'd like to thank MCN for the support and for the opportunity. It was an amazing opportunity to be the only university in Zimbabwe that has been representing Millennium Fellowship. And it was an honor for us to be able to, to go through the processes, the sessions, the everything that we went through. And it wasn't going to be possible without the help of Team MCN, and not forget to mention Chantel as well. She's been very, very helpful. So thank you very much, guys, for the opportunity. Unfortunately, I see my team is hosting a watch party, but I think they're having some network issues. But yeah, basically that's what Pillar of Hope is all about. So that's what we've managed to do at the moment. And through the foundation and MCN, we were invited to attend the World Youth Forum in Egypt, and which is such an amazing opportunity that wouldn't have come without Team MCN. So Team MCN, thank you very much. Continue to impact more lives. Continue to make sure you groom more leaders, because the future belongs to us as young people, and we are the only people who can be able to make sure we make the vision 2030 of United Nations a success. So thank you very much, the moderator. Thank you very much, Antje, for the introduction, and thank you to Team MCN.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We will now be hearing from the 4th and 5th annual Millennium Ocean Prize winners. The Millennium Oceans Prize, supported by the Remmer Family Foundation and MCN, targets Sustainable Development Goal 14 by celebrating youth activists who are focused on enriching their communities through advancing marine and freshwater conservation and sustainable use of marine resources. The prize supports and celebrates students who are passionate about conserving, protecting, and sustainably using oceans, seas, and marine water and life. Prize winners receive mentorship and a $5,000 prize for implementation of a concrete campaign idea to spark change and garner support in advocacy, policy, and leadership for oceans and freshwater systems. We are happy to introduce Denver and Lloyd from Ahesi University in Accra, Ghana, the 4th Millennium Oceans Prize winners, and Afasi and Bismi from TKM College of Engineering in India, the 5th Millennium Ocean Prize winners. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Okay, thank you. So my name is Ken Vashkokonya, and I'm the one of the past Millennium Oceans Prize winner, and I'm the co-founder of African Transformers together with Lloyd Teta. Is not here with me. So what our project is aimed at, it aims at creating awareness in the youth around Accra and Ghana, so that like we conserve our oceans. Our initial plan or our initial work was aimed at training the youth to use plastic bottles to make like plastic bins. So we reused the used bottles to make plastic bins, and then we also conducted sanitation workshops in high schools and junior schools, so that we teach the kids like basic recycling techniques. We also have other current projects we are working with, which is like working with the local villagers to create a sustainable model in which they collect plastic sachets and then sell it to recycling companies in the capital. So we hope that by the end of December, we would have set up a working model which they can continue to use as a source of income, and also helping to conserve our oceans by reusing plastic waste. We also have other parts of the project which involves research. So we're currently working on a research project to see how we can also use those bottles and other plastic waste like broken plastic chairs, to see how we can make roads like road tar or road pavements from such material. So that's basically what African Transformers do, and we're grateful to the amazing support we've been receiving from the Millennium, from the MCN team, like Noah, Sam, and all their colleagues they work with. We are very grateful for everyone who has supported us, and we encourage everyone to take the initiative and try to save the oceans in our respective areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And right now, Afsal, feel free to take it off before.
Yeah. Hi all. Hello. Hi.
Hello, we can hear you.
Hi all. Myself Afsal Mohammed B from India, representing the Gulmarg Foundation. First of all, I would like to thank fellows for getting graduated. So like you all, I was also a Millennium Fellow on 2018. So I'm really proud to be here to represent my organization, the Gulmarg Foundation, which are the Millennium Ocean Prize winners of 2019. So our project is leadership journey in Kerala to the backwaters for the youth, to make them aware about the real life issues that is happening in the wildlife, the ocean life conservation. So this is a learning journey with the youth to make them identify issues, to make them identify the problems in the ocean conservation, and get them to make solutions for these issues. So as a part of this, we have done so much campaigns. So one of our campaign is Bottles Up campaign, on which 1,000 plus plastic bottles has been removed, replaced by.
All right. Right now, again, thank you guys for your patience. Thank you for saying your words. So it seems that we are, as announced earlier, moving to Mexico to fellows at Centro Universitario Incarnate. I'm sorry, I'm not a native.
Hi. Can you hear us?
Loud and clear.
Okay. We are the fellows of Centro Universitario Incarnate Ward, and we want to sorry. We want to talk about what we were doing along the semester. And first of all, we want to thank all the MCN staff that gave all the support to our team. And well, my name is Miguel Belmont, and our project, our team, it's called Sharing Us. Um, it has been a unique experience full of challenge and lessons that are not obtained in any program. And, she is Paula.
Hi, my name is Paula, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about what we did. We create a campaign to recycle plastic. We began in our community, in our university, and we promote the knowledge to give them the tools to our community that helps them to recycle the plastic. And also we did
we make like
alliance with companies that they have recycle companies factory.
Hey, I'm Kanya. We visited a recycling factory, one of the largest in Mexico City. We held conference at the university and had some class on covering of the environment and how to deal with organic and inorganic waste to reduce the pollution. We also impacted more than 800 students and directors in our community, building a great awareness about the importance of the recycling.
And that's a little bit of what we are doing here in Mexico City.
Thank you guys for that. That was really inspiring. And I know that many of you guys were working on very interesting things all over the world, trying to help the UN Millennium Sustainable Development Goals. And right now I'm handing it to FIBA, our other MC for today.
Yeah. And now we're honored to be joined by global leaders who have leveraged their platform and role to drive social and sustainable development. They are the role models we look up to for our generation, and we are excited to honor them today with the 2019 Global Generation Award. Introducing our first awardee will be Flavian Teddy and Harriet Ocheng from Kenyatta University, Kenya.
Hello everyone, my name is Ocheng Harriet.
And my name is Teddy Flavian.
We're the campus directors here at Kenyatta University campus. We're so excited to be here today.
Our project name is New Generation Mentors, and we have been pursuing SDG 4, which is quality education. We have been spearheading mentorship programs in primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions in Kitui County in Kenya for the past 4 years. And in collaboration with the campus administration, the education stakeholders, and the school heads, we seek to improve the quality of performance and education of the students through mentorship.
For our first award today, we are proud to present the 2019 Global Generation Award to Ban Ki-moon, the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations. As the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon's priorities are to mobilize world leaders around a set of new global challenges, from climate change to economic upheaval to pandemics and to increasing pressures in food, energy, and water.
He was a bridge builder, giving voice to the world's poorest and most vulnerable people and strengthening the organization itself. Ban Ki-moon notable achievements include the creation of UN Women alone, leading the efforts on Paris climate change and strengthening the UN peace efforts.
It is an honor to be presenting the award to the person who launched the 17 Sustainable Development Goals to be achieved by 2030. This movement has seen people from across the world come together to promote social impact and change. It has not only promoted diversity, but also unity. An example of such an organization is MCN.
On behalf of MCN and with the support of Millennium Fellowship Worldwide, we are honored to present the Global Generation Award to the 8th Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon.
Please watch this special video message from Millennium Fellows from His Excellency.
Dear Millennium Fellows, it is wonderful to be with you on this auspicious occasion, your graduation. Thank you to MCN for this Global Generation Award. It is an honor to be recognized, particularly as I have worked to elevate your engagement throughout my career. As evidenced by your contributions, you are the present and the future. In 2010, I launched the United Nations Academic Impact. I am delighted to see MCN and the United Nations Academic Impact partner to present the Millennium Fellowship and support your bold leadership for the SDGs. I want to share 3 pieces of advice as you take next step. First, embrace global citizenship. More than half the world is under the age of 30. You have the technologies and opportunities to make the world smaller. Many of you have connected virtually across campuses and continents during the Millennium Fellowship, sharing best practices and sparking collaborations. Please build on these partnerships. This is essential for achieving the SDGs. Second, lead by example. Before asking others to take action, ensure you are living a life aligned with your values. You have been taught through the fellowship to engage with empathy, humility, and inclusion. Follow through on this. The world needs your passion and your compassion. Third, we only have one planet. There is no planet B. Therefore, there should be no plan B. There is only plan A. Climate change is displacing billions of people already, and it will have particularly acute impact on marginalized communities. Do your part with your voice and actions to ensure we protect the one planet we all share. Millennium Fellows, your work matters. Thank you for taking informed action. We are all counting on you to affirm the dignity of people and our planet now and for years to come. I look forward to following your progress. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Ban Ki-moon. Next, I would like to introduce Tiago and Alex from Georgia Tech in Atlanta in the United States.
Hey guys, can you guys hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so I'm Alex. I'm a second-year environmental engineering major at Georgia Tech, and I am the founder and editor of The Asylum, where scientists share personal, authentic stories outside of their research. We are advancing SDG 17, Partnerships for the Goals, and also United Nations Academic Impact Principle number 7, Intercultural Dialogue.
And hi, I am Tiago. I am a second-year biochemistry and earth and atmosphere sciences major at Georgia Tech. I also serve the role of co-campus director here, and my project focuses on advancing SDG 13, climate action, to provide sustainability education and ensure that that information is available to all.
Additionally, we are the founders of Fridays for Future at Georgia Tech. You might have heard of Fridays for Future, who was started globally by Greta Thunberg, a Swedish young girl. And since she started last year, millions of students across the world in different campuses are coming out on Fridays to demand climate justice and climate action. And we are happy that we're bringing it to Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States.
Today, we are honored to be here and recognize a global leader, a champion, and an advocate for corporate social responsibility, climate change, and equality. Paul Polman is the chair of the International Chamber of Commerce, the B Team, and vice chair of the United Nations Global Compact. I'd like to start off by personally thanking Mr. Polman, especially for being here on this occasion. For those of you who have not watched his speech in the SDG Business Forum, this past October, I highly encourage you to do so, as it is always a breath of fresh air to hear people in such high positions, such as a CEO of an international business, talking about the true gravity of the climate crisis and speaking truth to power.
In recognition of his commitment to driving transformational change, Paul was appointed to the United Nations Secretary General's high-level panel that developed the Sustainable Development Goals. He has played a leading role since in highlighting the business case for the 2030 Development Agenda. He also remains a United Nations appointed SDG advocate.
Conscious of the role that tomorrow's leaders will play in tackling our most pressing environmental and social challenges, Paul actively supports and mentors young leaders, including as a counselor and chair of the Global Advisory Board of One Young World.
Together with his wife, Kim, Paul founded and helps to run the Kilimanjaro Blind Trust, which works to improve the lives of blind and visually impaired children in East Africa. I'd like to personally thank Paul because a lot of my family members have received eye surgeries, so I understand how eye surgeries can be very important for people who do not have access to healthcare, and how it changes their lives completely by giving them more opportunities to interact and function normally.
On behalf of MCN and with the support of all Millennium Fellows worldwide, please join us in celebrating Paul Polman as a 2019 Global Generation Award winner. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, and you are way too kind. I'm actually in the Rockefeller Foundation building. I'm on the board of Rockefeller, and we're talking some major partnerships as I sit here to accelerate the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. But as I talk to you, let me first thank you for this honor, but I really dedicate it to all of you for the wonderful work you are doing and why you're needed so much. And but the first time I got exposed to the wonderful work you're doing with the MCN and the US academic impact work on the Millennial Fellowship, it was clear to me that that's absolutely needed. If you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, which are wonderful, the way that they have been designed, but the more I look at it, the more I realize how absolutely urgent it is that we get a broader group of, especially the younger people, not only to be aware of these Sustainable Development Goals, but also act on these Sustainable Development Goals. The Millennial Development Goals, which started in the year 2000 under Kofi Annan, had the objective of halving the number of people living in poverty. And lo and behold, we've actually achieved that over the first 15 years from 2000 to 2015. Then a lot of us got together and said, if we are halving the number of people living in poverty, which at that time was $1.25 a day, why don't we finish the job and eradicate poverty completely? Because issues of society have changed. We also put a dimension in it, sustainability and equitable. And sustainable and equitable is very important. And these are the Sustainable Development Goals, to irreversibly eradicate poverty and do that in a more sustainable and equitable way. Obviously, the most burning issues that we see now, the two most burning issues, are climate change and our income inequality. And I'm actually very happy to see in many of the efforts that you are all involved in, that you're addressing that head on. You know, Odale, working on Hurricane Maria when it was in Puerto Rico, has decided to directly tackle the issue of climate change, for example. That's a great example of getting to one of the key issues. And Beryl in Kenya, where I have a lot of sympathy for, that working on the issues of autism and inclusion is very much coming to this other part of the Sustainable Development Goals to make it work for everybody, to not leave anybody behind. And as you can see, climate change, as an example, is currently pushing more people into poverty. It's the poor, especially the women and the girls, that disproportionately pay a price for that. So inequality and climate change are very closely related, and some people describe it as the two sides of the same coin. Why I'm so enthusiastic that you are working this and that you together as Millennial Fellows have actually made this your priority already over the last 12 years as social impact leaders, is that we cannot solve the Sustainable Development Goals without the active involvement of the young people. I've said many times the young people should not only get a seat at the table, we should actually give you the table. 3.8 billion people in this world, more or less, are below the age of 30. That's half of the world population. Then if you look at the age group, which is obviously the prime age group from your age, if I take 18 to 25, 26, 27, you have 1.8 billion people in there. Now, if you look at your age group, the 1.8 billion people, you are more educated than ever in the history of mankind. You have more access to technology than in the history of mankind. You're more innovative. There are more ideas coming out there from the social entrepreneurs and anybody else in that group. So we have a group of talent that you're obviously tapping into, where you unite yourselves together, that is better than we've ever had in the history of mankind. And that is also, as a result, better able to help us tackle these enormous challenges that we have. But would I say, instead of challenges, I would actually argue the enormous opportunities. And the reason I say the enormous opportunities is very simply that for all of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, from goal number 1 of eradicating poverty to goal number 17 of partnership and all the other ones in between, we are now at a point, I believe, that not acting is actually costing us more than acting. So the cost of inaction is higher than the cost of action. When that is the case, it's an enormous opportunity. Some people might not have the moral compass like you have, or really rallying around the moral framework like the Sustainable Development Goals, but they certainly understand the law of economics. And if the cost of inaction is significantly higher already than the cost of action, it becomes an enormous economic opportunity. To implement the Sustainable Development Goals would require $3 to $5 trillion a year. That's a lot of money, but on a global economy of $80 to $90 trillion, it's actually not that much, especially if we talk about the future of humanity. It's not that much. The money has to come from the private sector mainly because governments have each time less and less money. So we have to get the private sector interested. We have to ensure that money from the private sector flows into the development agenda, and that can only happen if we make the economics attractive. The $2 to $3 trillion gap in spending that we now have is not that much on a yearly basis for the next 15 years. If you look at each of the goals, I would argue we are already incurring costs for each of the goals that are higher than the implementation of all the goals. Climate change is costing us over $5 trillion a year. Goal number 16 of peace and justice, having conflict prevention and wars, is costing us 8 to 12% of the global GDP, 2 to 3 times as much as the implementation of all of the goals. We just did a piece of work on food security, goal number 2, no hunger. And what we find is that the cost of our food system is a negative $12 trillion by destroying nature, by destroying biodiversity or natural capital. We could turn that into a positive of $4 trillion just on food alone, twice as much benefit as the implementation of all the Sustainable Development Goals. Giving women in this world the same rights as men in terms of access to education, financing, land rights, would unlock the global economy by $26 trillion, according to McKinsey. So whatever goal you look at, doing the right thing now will be economically more efficient than what we are currently doing. Then the question is, why don't we do it? In some cases, it's ignorance. In other cases, it's the vested order who doesn't like change because the system works for them. In other cases, it's simply impossible to do it alone. The magnitude of the transformations and the scale that we need to do require a different form of partnership. The Africans have a very interesting proverb that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. Right now with the Sustainable Development Goals, we definitely want to go far together. At the current projections, we will only achieve the goals in the year 2073, which is far removed from 2030. And any year that we miss, some people are going to die, some poor people are going to suffer, and we collectively don't want to be responsible for that. So the quicker we can work together, putting the right coalitions together to implement these sustainable development goals, to get rid of these inefficiencies that I talk about and make the world function for more people, the better we're off. And this is why you're there, and this is why I applaud, obviously, your Millennial Fellowship that you have, and also, obviously, what you're doing individually and collectively. Focusing on the SDGs, working on different types of partnerships. And the last comment that I would make, at the end of the day, I've come to the conclusion that the missing element in today's world to work the Sustainable Development Goals is ultimately the willingness from each and every one of us to be an active contributor to providing the solutions. We need the leaders that are willing to actually drive these changes. Ultimately, the biggest changes in the history of mankind have come because people stood up. That's how we got to civil rights. That's how we stopped apartheid. That's how we fought for LGBT. And ultimately, obviously, the moral forces will prevail, but we cannot wait so long. So we need leaders. We need more leaders that can work in partnership, that can think intergenerational, that are purpose-driven. And above all, leaders that understand by putting the interest of others ahead of their own, they'll be better off themselves as well, ultimately. So these are the type of leaders that we need, and unfortunately, we're still short of it. And the reason I applaud you for what you're doing and want to dedicate this recognition to all of you is that you are these type of leaders. Not only now in your lives, but as you enter into the workforce and the other opportunities that will be given to you, you'll have incredibly more influence and your circle of influence will grow. And I hope that for the rest of your lives, you will stay ambassadors for the Sustainable Development Goals. There is no question in my mind that you are all lucky to be educated, lucky to be, to a certain extent, free to choose what you want to do, where you want to live, and how you want to live your life. But that is only the case for 2% of the world population. You, in that sense, have won a lottery ticket of life. If you have won the lottery ticket of life for arguably you've not done anything for, it's your parents, you might argue, but you've not done much for being where you were born and for having these opportunities. If you are so lucky and you belong to the 2%, then you have to put yourself to the service of the other 98%. We can only have a world that is a world we want to live in if we can treat everybody with dignity and respect. If we can create equity or equal opportunities for everybody. And last but not least, if we can operate under a high level of compassion. I applaud you for what you're doing. I thank you for what you're doing. And I wish you success on the road moving forward to do even more to ensure that we implement the Sustainable Development Goals and not leave anybody behind. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul Polman, for your incredible advice. Next, we'd like to introduce Taha and Faizan, who are campus directors at the National University of Science and Technology in Pakistan.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I am Faizan Ahmed from National University of Science and Technology, Pakistan. We 16 Millennium Fellows at National University of Science and Technology, Pakistan have worked throughout this program to promote SDG 1, 2, 4, 5, 11, and 12. However, our major project has been Street School, in which we equip the underprivileged children of Afghan immigrants with the basic literacy and ethics. In these 4 months, we developed a complete curriculum and infrastructure to make our project sustainable and collaborate with various other organizations working to promote SDG 4 quality education. Our volunteers worked in 6 different teams to run the school, which included logistics, security, administration, external relations, human resources, and social media. Now, we all fellows at NUST are excited to pursue meaningful careers beyond this fellowship while incorporating social impact in our work.
Great. Okay, so as Fizan just highlighted, we have developed a really profound association with quality education during this program. And in fact, at this stage of my career, I am planning to pursue a position in Teach for Pakistan. That's an organization over here that gives rigorous training to fresh graduates and places them in public and government schools so that they can uplift the education standards in otherwise neglected areas. And with that said, we are highly excited to introduce our next Global Generation Award winner, Wendy Kopp. And Wendy Kopp is CEO and co-founder of Teach for All, a global network of independent organizations that are developing collective leadership to ensure all children have the opportunity to fulfill their potential. And currently, Teach for All network is comprised of partner organizations in 53 countries on 6 continents, including its founder partners Teach for America and for UK's Teach First. And now, on behalf of MCN and with the support of Millennium Fellows worldwide, it's our great pleasure to recognize and honor Wendy Kopp, the CEO and co-founder of Teach for All, with a 2019 Global Generation Award. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. First of all, I'm so excited to hear that you're planning to do Teach for Pakistan. That's so exciting. You know, I want to thank all of you and the Millennium Campus Network and the UN Academic Impact for launching the Millennium Fellowship, which I think is so crucial really for where we all want to go, meeting the SDGs and our global aspirations. And I say that really just rooted in, and I can't really add that much to what Paul Polman just said, I have to say. I mean, that was super inspiring and he covered so much ground, but kind of similarly, probably the biggest insight from my work over the last 30 years of watching in communities, first across my country in the United States and now all across the world, and trying to understand what is it that actually drives the kind of system change that we need. What I've seen is that it's all about kind of collective leadership. And by that, I mean, first of all, enough of a critical mass of people exerting leadership. In our case, as we think about, you know, the welfare of kids around the whole ecosystem around children, it's about ensuring that those leaders are diverse, meaning we need the most privileged folks who gain proximity to the issues and bring their kind of, you know, power and privilege to bear. But hugely importantly, we need the people who have lived the inequities and experienced them really informing and leading the work. And finally, we need the kind of, you know, many leaders, diverse leaders, but we need them both not only leading individually, but stepping up from their individual pursuits and thinking together about, you know, having the debates, you know, comparing their perspectives and bringing all of their perspectives to bear in developing shared vision and ultimately the kind of collective action that we need to get where we're trying to go. I was very interested after many, many years in this journey, essentially coming to those conclusions, to read an article and a piece written by Peter Senge, who maybe some of you have read. He's such a leading thinker in system change. And he wrote an article called The Dawn of System Leadership, which looks across multiple sectors. Actually, it probably didn't look at education. It looked at things like how do you change the fisheries and, you know, environmental change and such, and concluded that it takes collective leadership. So I say all that because I think it's what you all are working to do and what the Millennium Fellows program is all about. I mean, first of all, we need the next generation channeling their energy against, and your energy against, our most pressing problems. Really, I mean, people are everything, leadership is everything, and I know that's what you all are all about. But secondly, we need you kind of exerting the values that I think you're working to embody around humility and empathy and inclusion, because that's the key to the kind of collective and collaborative leadership that we need. So I'm so inspired by you all and your promise and potential. And particularly, you know, I've learned a bit about what some of you have been doing collectively in various communities, particularly around education. I heard about 17 Millennium Fellows at UNC who are working to give students in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system access to life skills. I heard about 8 Millennium Fellows in Chennai who are working to find sustainable ways of enabling the kids in the school system there to have the kind of material resources that they need. And I know those are 2 of many incredible projects that are already moving us in the direction we need to head. So I'm very excited to see what you all will do, not only, you know, during your Millennium Fellowship, but really every year thereafter. And I'm looking forward to working with you and alongside you and learning from you over time.
Thank you so much, Wendy, for taking your time to speak with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Pranjal Jain, a fellow from Cornell University who's working on gender equality.
Hi, everyone. Congrats on graduating today. My name is Pranjal Jain, and I'm a freshman at Cornell University in Ithaca in the United States. Members from my cohort have been working on a variety of different projects, ranging from creating a podcast to support women in STEM to starting the first ever Spanish debate team. All of our projects adhere to the SDGs and are closely related with our personal narratives and passions. My personal project is called Global Girlhood, and it aligns with SDG 5. Global Girlhood leverages social media to highlight common women and their stories of empowerment. We interview women worldwide, then share those interviews with women from other communities and ask them to react to the stories, all in efforts to create a network of women that are invested in each other's well-being and success. This September, I represented Global Girlhood and the Millennium Fellowship at the Concordia Summit, which is where I met Jameela. As a young South Asian woman, meeting Jameela, another South Asian woman, and seeing her fearlessly speaking her truth filled me with happiness. It is people like her that I wish I saw more of in media and in the world when I was younger. It is my honor to introduce her today. Jameela Jamil is founder of activist platform I Way, a community of change makers who come together to share ideas, experiences, and ultimately mobilize activism. Amplifying the voices of activists from across the globe, I Way has inspired industry policy change and legislative action, generating awareness to protect the livelihoods of our youth and continue the fight for a radically inclusive world. The digital platform launches early 2020 and will connect nearly 1.5 million voices in the Gen Z audience through original content, campaign support, and advocacy, exploring social issues from the representation of gender in media to climate change to cultural trends affecting mental health. A focused sense of inception, I Way is committed to ongoing efforts to make it illegal to promote and sell diet products to minors. Working closely with Instagram and Facebook, I Way helps shape their global policy change restricting the promotion of harmful products. Without further ado, it is my great pleasure to present a 2019 Generation Award to Jameela Jamil.
Oh, hi! I'm so excited to be here. I think what you guys are doing is so amazing. I'm such a big fan of the Millennium Fellowship, rather. It was such an honor to get to meet you guys when I was at the UN, and I think the work you do is just so inspiring and constantly reminds me and everyone at I Way to level up. I have started a movement that is against shame, and I have decided to turn my movement I Way into a full. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Oh, hi again.
Hi.
I've been an activist since I was 19 years old, and the most successful moment I've had in activism is when I started the I Way movement, which is, I think, how I managed to meet you guys over at the MCN. And I basically wanted to start this movement for mental health. I think that young people are so under attack in a way that I can't even imagine how you get through so many days because of the way that you get targeted sometimes by people who are just greedy and they want you to buy their products. And I'm so honored to be able to now, through I Way, be able to work with so many young activists around the world, and I can't wait to work more with the Millennium Fellowship. Oh dear, I can just see my face up here. That's terrible. But I wanted to say how inspiring your work is, and I would love for you to join us at I Way. That's on Instagram at I_way. And and help us reach as many people as we possibly can. If I could give one bit of advice to young activists, you have to bear with me, I can't even look in the camera because I get nervous giving speeches, but if I could give one bit of advice to young activists, because I've been in this for a very long time, it would be that before you go out there to try and heal the world, please, please take the time to heal yourselves. As a mental health advocate, I cannot stress enough how much all of us need therapy, we need friends, we need community. I couldn't do this without all of the amazing people around me. And I desperately need all of you young activists out there to look after yourselves, not move outside of your boundaries. What you're doing is so amazing and it's so important to this world, but also we desperately need you. And when you're stronger, you are more effective. And so please lean on other people and please investigate therapy. There's no age that's too young to try it, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's the thing that single-handedly, I would say, helped me become the strongest activist I've ever been. I've been doing this for so long, but the hardest I've ever been able to fight has been because I'm held up inside by therapy and also held up by all of the people around me. And we're giving up a lot. This is really, really hard. And I need anyone who is out there watching this to know that I'm not doing this by myself. I have a whole movement of people behind me. There's 1 million people almost in the I Way movement. It's full of a community. You don't have to do any of this stuff by yourself. You just have to do this with other like-minded people who also want to save the world. And you should be very, very proud of yourselves. I think your organization is absolutely amazing. I'm sorry I got a bit shy at the beginning, but it's because I feel a lot of pressure because I think what you guys are doing is so intimidating because I was not as effective as all of you are when I was your age. I'm only getting there now and I'm in my 30s. And so I'm really excited that you exist and I can't wait to work with you more in the future. Thank you for having me and thank you for this award. That is it's very flattering.
So thank you so much for taking the time today to hop on. Again, thank you so much for coming on today to Jameela Jamil, Wendy Kopp, and Paul Polman. You're all inspiring leaders that have helped to pave the way for us as Millennium Fellows to keep working on the SDGs. Thank you for your contribution, and we hope to build upon it.
Let's just have a look together and let's engage a little bit on inside of the chat. So feel free, guys, to be around there and speak your mind. I see a lot of love to Jameela, and I'm sure to other speakers too. There's definitely a lot of love for Paul Polman too, and Wendy, I see. So keep it coming. Keep these congratulations coming. And
yeah, and at this time, if you guys could please in the chat box, just feel free to write what SDG you advanced this semester during your Millennium Fellowship. Time to interact with your fellows and interact on the chat box as well.
a great quality education. Well, I think you should keep in touch and try to get Wendy on the call with you maybe one day.
Yes, and thank you everyone for joining in today. Feel free to interact on the chat box and each other as well.
Many SDG 4s, yeah. I'm the one investing in that one too, so I'm more than happy to see that. Education is super important. 5, 14, wow, yeah. Multiple of them.
Oh, I see some in SDG 3. That's the one I also did. I see a lot of you have multiple SDGs that you're advancing. That's awesome.
In the meantime, also feel free to interact on social media. All right, now when we have a minute, just feel free to go there and go to Millennium Fellowship hashtag and put it out there. Share that you can't wait to hear from Dr. Tariq, or share which things from the speeches really inspired you. I know there's too many of them which were so inspiring and so cool. So maybe you can even mention a quote from all 3 of them. Just give it a little thought and type it in. I see many of the Arizona State on your phones. I hope that what you're typing in there are the posts with the hashtag. Yes, guys? That's great. Keep it coming.
Yeah, and make sure to follow MCN Partners on Instagram. We're posting all today, and as well as on your own personal social medias. Feel free to interact with one another and share usernames if you want.
Sure. I hear that Sam would like to introduce another speaker today. So Sam, please feel free to take it from me.
All right, hi everyone. This has been so inspiring, and it's such a testament to all of you. And clearly, I mean, we're using new technologies. In the past, we often convene everyone physically, and what we've done now is connected everyone virtually in 16 countries. So thank you all for joining with us. Congratulations. I definitely want to encourage you to apply. I know it sounds amazing and unbelievable, but we're already open for the class of 2020 application. We have thousands of applications already. So for the class of 2019, you can reapply for next year at millenniumfellows.org. You can share that opportunity with friends on your campus and build your cohorts. I want to take a moment to welcome a very special guest, really alongside Al-Razi University in Yemen. I know their audio wasn't working, so I apologize. They are an extraordinary UNI member and the Millennium Fellows tackling malaria in Yemen at Al-Razi University, doing extraordinary work. And so we want to congratulate each and every one of you. I see you right now, and thank you for all that you do. The person that I want to introduce, none of this would have happened without. This partnership, as you all know, is between MCN and the United Nations Academic Impact. We really have this shared passion for unlocking the power and potential and harnessing the potential of higher education, of academia, to help contribute to the SDGs, to the 2030 agenda, to UN goals, and to Unite principles. And I still recall sitting down with Ramu, the chief of the United Nations Academic Impact, a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and really thinking about what we could do together. And it's turned into an extraordinary partnership that has manifested this program. 1,000 of you tuning in live, 1,000 Millennium Fellows in the class of 2019, leading 800 initiatives, positively impacting nearly 1 million people's lives, and advancing all 17 SDGs and 10 Unite principles in the process. So Ramu, I want to thank you personally on behalf of us at MCN and Millennium Fellows around the world for making this network possible, and turn the floor over to you. An incredible friend, mentor, and partner to you and your entire team at the United Nations Academic Impact. Thank you for believing in Millennium Fellows around the world and for making all of this possible. The floor is yours.
I don't think that in my years with the United Nations Academic Impact, it's actually turned 9 years old yesterday. In these 9 years, I don't think there's been an experience of time more moving than that associated with the Millennium Fellows or the Millennium Fellowship, or indeed with you personally. Because when you speak of a movement, we think of a movement as a process going forward. We rarely think of movements as changing the very nature of circumstances around them. But that is what the Millennium Fellowship has done. And I've heard so many instances of individual Millennium Fellows like Aisha Noor Fatami in Pakistan, working with the slum women around Islamabad, and bringing that energy of what we like to call intellectual social responsibility to the actual canvas of the location around her. And at the other end of the spectrum, the institutional aspects of the Millennium Fellowship, like Bentley College, working on the programmatic aspects of the SDGs and how far these are actually being effective, even in parts of the world where one would normally imagine there is little need for further development. I think above all, to me, what the Millennium Fellowship shows is something that the United Nations was premised upon 75 years ago, but which we've tended to sometimes lose sight of, which is the idea of a common humanity. And I use that word deliberately because the word humanity in English, at least, has two connotations. One is humanity in the sense of the human population of which we are all a part, and the second, humanity in the sense of the consideration, the kindness, the compassion we extend to each other in common cause. And the Millennium Fellowship, I think, has worked at both levels. It has shaped and shared that common humanity between people, and it has shaped and shared that common humanity in the way they, individually and collectively, reach out to our single world. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much for those words of wisdom, Ramu. Thank you, Millennium Fellows, for this amazing journey and what a semester it has been, right? Please keep sharing on social media with hashtag Millennium Fellowship about your journeys, about which SDGs are you advancing. And additionally, please do not forget to complete your post surveys and submit any outstanding forms. Thank you so much. And what I also want to do is that I want to introduce a surprise towards the end of the graduation. And I'm looking forward to see what it is. So our surprise, Mr. Star somewhere there, I've heard.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was me. I thought it was like I thought it was a different surprise. I'm the surprise, huh?
You truly are. We can hear you loud and clear, so take it up.
Appreciate you. Shout out to my Lynn University squad. What up, everybody? What's up, Alyssa? I see you back there. So, I came on like really quickly at the beginning of this presentation, and I realized I didn't really talk about who I am or what I do. So I figured for those of y'all who don't know me, hi, my name is Alexander Starr, and I'm a recording artist. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a rapper, but I intentionally use music as a vehicle for positive change. What does that mean? I believe that artists can be dope without being ignorant, and I lead by example in doing that. So basically, what does that mean? I find what I'm good at and I do it. It just so happens I'm good at making positive music. I like to inspire higher inspirational movement because helping you to get somewhere is my kind of amusement. I'm naturally a nice guy, but I could be a nuisance because everything I spit be given wisdom like Confucius. I speak to be understood. I'm quiet when I'm clueless. A lot of rappers hate the way I make them feel useless. But then again, they love me because I show them what the truth is. And if you're thirsty for knowledge, then I can pour the juices. You should see the kind of temptation my life produces. I got some women guys dream about blowing me smooches. But I just keep it moving and I chunk them up the deuces because I don't think that they can match the work of my masseuses. My speakers hit the trunk so hard it leaves the car with bruises. I'm like the Ninja Turtles. I was transformed by the oozes. Let's do this. Millennium Fellows 2019. This is just an absolute honor to be amongst y'all. Big shout out to Sam Vaghar. Yo, Sam, I look up to you in so many ways. And yo, every single Millennium Fellow, I look up to y'all too. Just like Jamil said, like y'all are doing at your age what I am dreaming of doing right now and what I'm actively doing right now. So I do my part in the music industry. Whatever your part is, you do that. People are going to look at you funny when you're changing the world because you're doing what they don't think is possible, but they really wish that they could do. So keep on doing that. Keep on carrying these values forward, regardless of what your field of expertise is. And yo, you got my support. If you need theme songs for what you're doing, holla at me. If you need anything from Sam, Sam got your back. And connect and fellowship with one another because yo, we're all in this together. I love y'all. I'm grateful for y'all. And yo, this is your era. Many blessings, folks.
Thank you. you so much, everyone, for joining today, and thank you to all the speakers that took the time to come and join us today during our graduation. Congratulations, class of 2019. We made it. Yay!
What?